to sleep, you're going to stand still, or you'll even go behind. There are dynamics of this world. The Prophet ﷺ went through hardships. He went through setbacks, but the Prophet ﷺ had a vision. He had a vision. He knew where he was going, and he was working day and night to fulfill that vision and materialize it. It's not about blame. It's not about beating yourself down. There are we collectively can improve. We need to do away with the racism that exists among us. We need to deal with the problems of parenting that we have, because we can't solve the bigger problems if we can't solve the problems in our houses. We need to solve a lot of our personal affairs. And if you are in a public arena, do all you can. No one denies this. But let's not just be people who react, and when something happens we just lose battle. The world is going to change. But after seeing this so many times, you realize it's dishonesty to give the masses the impression that once you get angry or shout a few slogans that things are going to change and the whole world will respond. Sorry man, the world is not going to listen to our feelings in that way. There are dynamics, and these dynamics are first and foremost are to abide by the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That shows that everything is interconnected. That doesn't mean we don't do other things. No, the Muslims need to educate themselves. In the Western world, they invest a lot in the humanities, in the social sciences. We Muslims, specifically Muslims in the Western world, because we worry so much about financial situation, most of us are floating into medicine, engineering, and law, and so on and so forth. But we have to their covenant and agreement with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah shall send upon them an enemy not from amongst themselves, and they would take some of their lands away from them. So there are dynamics. A lot of them are religious, and a lot of them are worldly, that we have to understand them. We can't be naive to take one aspect of Islam and say, okay, victory happens when you do 1, 2, 3. But we have to go back and check ourselves. Are we doing this for the sake of Allah? If I'm not developing myself on a daily basis, if I'm not contributing to the Muslim Ummah and to the world in a way that helps everyone else, through my knowledge, through my field, through my specialty, through my job, through my business, if I'm not doing my part on a consistent basis, and I only wake up when something huge happens, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. When something happens, then you go back to sleep, that you're not functioning well, because the Muslim wounds never cease. The Rohingya Muslims in Burma have been killed for so many years on a daily basis until today. Until today. Yet we have favoritism among us as Muslims. We prefer certain ethnicities. We identify more with certain people, with certain issues. If I'm not developing myself on a daily basis, if I'm not contributing to the Muslim Ummah and to the world in a way that helps everyone else, through my knowledge, through my field, through my specialty, through my job, through my business, if I'm not doing my part on a consistent basis, and I only wake up when something huge happens, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign, because it's the things that are consistent that really help. There is much confusion. I'm telling you, everyone is here is to trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in adverse situations. When everything seems to be against you as an individual, as a community, or as a nation, or even as a family, never accuse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in whatever in His creation, in what He allows to happen. Things happen for a reason, and behind everything is the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People start blaming everyone. They blame scholars, they blame leaders. Everyone wants to blame anyone, and so on and so forth. And what happens? It still unfolds the same way. There are people who plan. This life is an open field. You put a strategy, you plan, you execute, you're going to see the fruits of your plans. You sit back and you only react to whatever happens for a couple of days or a couple